Imagine if the modern world lost mathematics, medicine, and astronomy as we know them today. Without the work of Muslim scientists centuries ago, we might not have algebra, modern hospitals, or even the scientific method that underlies science today. But sadly, many of their names have been forgotten. In this video, we'll get to know 10 Muslim scientists who truly changed the world forever. So, before we begin, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share so more people can learn about the incredible legacy of Islamic civilization. 10 Muslim scholars who changed the world forever. 1. Muhammad ibn Musa al-Khwarizmi. My brothers and sisters, may Allah bless you. Did you know that one of the foundations of modern mathematics as we use it today comes from a Muslim scientist? He is Muhammad ibn Musa al-Khwarizmi, a great scholar who lived in the 9th century. Al-Khwarizmi is known worldwide as the father of algebra. During this time, he wrote a monumental work entitled Al-Kitab al-Muqtasar fi Hisab al-Jabr wal-Muqabala. This book was more than just a scientific text. It laid the foundation for the birth of the science of algebra as we study it today. In this book, Al-Khwarizmi systematically explained how to solve various mathematical problems. He introduced methods for solving equations, calculating inheritances, determining land areas, and even aiding trade. The methods he developed made complex calculations much easier to understand. The influence of his thinking was so profound that Al-Khwarizmi's work was translated into Latin and studied by scientists in Europe for centuries. From there, mathematics developed rapidly and became the basis for many modern discoveries. Even more remarkable, the term algorithm, so important in today's world of computers and technology, actually comes from Al-Khwarizmi's name. His name was Latinized as algoritmi, which gave birth to the word algorithm as we know it today. Imagine, every time we use a computer, cell phone, or other digital technology, behind it lies the concept of an algorithm whose roots date back to the thinking of a Muslim scientist centuries ago. The story of Al-Khwarizmi teaches us an important lesson, that in Islamic civilization, faith and science go hand in hand. The drive to understand God's creation has given birth to scientists whose work illuminates the world to this day. And Muhammad ibn Musa al-Khwarizmi is living proof that the legacy of Islamic civilization has changed the world forever.
Dua, Ibn Sina. My brothers and sisters, may Allah bless you. In the history of Islamic civilization, there is a great scientist known as one of the most influential physicians of all time. He is Ibn Sina, better known in the West as Avicenna. From a young age, Ibn Sina demonstrated extraordinary intelligence. He studied various sciences such as philosophy, astronomy, and especially medicine. Thanks to his diligence and intelligence, he later became a highly respected physician of his time. One of his greatest works is the famous book of medicine, or Al-Qanun fi Tib. This book is a comprehensive medical encyclopedia. In it, Ibn Sina describes various diseases, methods of diagnosis, methods of treatment, and the use of various medicines. Remarkably, this book was not only influential in the Islamic world, but also served as a primary reference in many European universities for hundreds of years. Medical students studied it as a foundation of medical knowledge before the advent of modern medical textbooks. Through his work and research, Ibn Sina helped lay a crucial foundation for the development of modern medicine. He emphasized the importance of observation, careful diagnosis, and a scientific approach to understanding disease and its treatment. Imagine, over 1,000 years ago, a Muslim scientist wrote a medical work so influential that it has been studied across civilizations and generations. The story of Ibn Sina reminds us that in Islamic history, the pursuit of knowledge was an act of worship. By understanding the human body and how to cure disease, Muslim scientists sought to benefit all of humanity. And to this day, Ibn Sina's name remains remembered as one of the figures who laid the essential foundations for modern medicine. My brothers and sisters, may Allah bless you. In the history of Islamic civilization, there was a great scientist known as one of the most influential physicians of all time. He was Ibn Sina, better known in the West as Avicenna. From a young age, Ibn Sina demonstrated extraordinary intelligence. He studied various sciences such as philosophy, astronomy, and especially medicine. Thanks to his diligence and intelligence, he later became a highly respected physician of his time. One of his greatest works is the famous book of medicine, or Al-Qanun fi al-Tibb. This book is a comprehensive medical encyclopedia. In it, Ibn Sina describes various diseases, methods of diagnosis, methods of treatment, and the use of various medicines. Remarkably, this book was not only influential in the Islamic world, but also served as a primary reference in many European universities for hundreds of years. Medical students studied it as a foundation of medical knowledge before the advent of modern medical textbooks. Through his work and research, Ibn Sina helped lay a crucial foundation for the development of modern medicine. He emphasized the importance of observation, careful diagnosis, and a scientific approach to understanding disease and its treatment. Imagine, over 1,000 years ago, a Muslim scientist wrote a medical work so influential that it has been studied across civilizations and generations. The story of Ibn Sina reminds us that in Islamic history, the pursuit of knowledge was an act of worship. By understanding the human body and how to cure disease, Muslim scientists sought to benefit all of humanity. And to this day, Ibn Sina's name remains remembered as one of the figures who laid the essential foundations for modern medicine.
Tiga, Al-Zahrawi. My brothers and sisters, may Allah bless you. In the history of world medicine, there is a Muslim scientist whose contributions to surgery are immense. He is Al-Zahrawi, known in the West as Abul Qasis. Al-Zahrawi lived in the 10th century in the region of Andalusia, which at that time was one of the greatest centers of learning in the Islamic world. With his dedication and experience as a physician, he developed various medical techniques that were very advanced for his time, particularly in the field of surgery. Because of his extraordinary contributions, Al-Zahrawi is known as the father of modern surgery. He wrote a major medical work, Al-Tasrif, which has become an important reference in the medical world. This book consists of dozens of volumes covering various aspects of medicine, including surgical techniques in detail. One of the most impressive aspects of Al-Zahrawi's work is the design of various surgical instruments he created. He drew and described over 200 surgical instruments used in various medical procedures, from instruments for suturing wounds and removing kidney stones to instruments for dental surgery. Remarkably, many of these surgical instrument designs inspired modern surgical instruments still in use today. European physicians later translated his work into Latin and studied it for centuries. Imagine, over 1,000 years ago, a Muslim scientist devised a surgical technique that has helped save lives for generations to come. Al-Zahrawi's story teaches us that in Islamic civilization, science was used for the greatest benefit of humanity. And to this day, Al-Zahrawi's name remains remembered as a pioneer who laid a crucial foundation for the development of modern surgery.
4. Ibn al-Haytham. My brothers and sisters, blessed by Allah. In the history of world science, there was a Muslim scientist who made extraordinary contributions to understanding light and how humans see. He was Ibn al-Haytham, known in the West as Al-Hazan. Ibn al-Haytham lived in the 10th century and is known as one of the most influential scientists in the field of optics. Because of his immense contributions, he is often called the father of modern optics. At that time, many people had misconceptions about how humans see. Some believed that the human eye transmits light to objects. However, through careful research and experimentation, Ibn al-Haytham proved that it is actually light from objects that enters the human eye, enabling us to see. He documented this important discovery in his monumental work, the Book of Optics, or Kitab al-Manazir. In this book, he explained in detail the nature of light, how it is reflected and refracted, and how the human eye processes vision. What made his research so remarkable was the scientific method he employed. Ibn al-Haytham not only theorized, but also conducted numerous experiments to prove his findings. This approach later became the foundation for the modern scientific method used by scientists today. Even more remarkable, Ibn al-Haytham's research on light and vision laid the foundation for the development of various modern technologies, including cameras, optical lenses, telescopes, and the various visual devices we use today. Imagine, over 1,000 years ago, a Muslim scientist paved the way for visual technology that is now an essential part of human life. Ibn al-Haytham's story demonstrates that in Islamic civilization, curiosity about God's creation led to major discoveries that benefited the world. And to this day, Ibn al-Haytham's name remains remembered as a pioneer who laid the foundation for modern optics.
5. Al-Biruni. My brothers and sisters, blessed by Allah. In the history of Islamic science, there is a scientist known for his extraordinary intelligence and profound curiosity about the universe. He was Al-Biruni, a great scholar who lived in the 10th and 11th centuries. Al-Biruni was known as a polymath, a scientist who mastered many fields simultaneously. He studied various disciplines such as astronomy, geography, and physics. Through his research, he sought to understand how the universe works as part of the signs of Allah's greatness. One of Al-Biruni's most astonishing achievements was his ability to calculate the circumference of the Earth. Using scientific observation methods and precise mathematical calculations, he attempted to determine the Earth's size from the height of a mountain. Remarkably, his calculations were remarkably close to the figures known to modern scientists today. This is despite the fact that this research was conducted over 1,000 years ago, before the technology we have today. This discovery demonstrates the advanced and rigorous scientific methods used by Muslim scientists at that time. They relied not only on theory, but also on careful observation, measurement, and calculation. Al-Biruni's work was studied by many subsequent scientists and made important contributions to the development of global science, particularly in understanding the shape and size of the Earth. Al-Biruni's story teaches us that the spirit of seeking knowledge in Islamic civilization has given rise to great thinkers who helped humanity better understand the universe. To this day, Al-Biruni's name remains remembered as one of the greatest scientists in history, whose contributions helped broaden humanity's understanding of the planet we inhabit.
6. Jabir ibn Hayyan. My brothers and sisters blessed by Allah. In the history of science, there is a Muslim scientist considered a pioneer in the birth of modern chemistry. He was Jabir ibn Hayyan, a great scientist who lived in the 8th century. In the West, he is known as Jeber, and many historians call him the father of chemistry. At a time when many still viewed chemistry as part of the speculative practice of alchemy, Jabir ibn Hayyan introduced a more systematic scientific approach. He emphasized the importance of experimentation in understanding the reactions of substances and the changes in matter.
This approach was a crucial step in the development of chemistry as a science based on research and real-world testing. One of Jabir ibn Hayyan's important contributions was the development of various laboratory techniques, including distillation. This technique is used to separate and purify substances and remains an important method in chemistry, pharmacy, and even modern industry to this day. Furthermore, he also designed various laboratory instruments that help scientists conduct experiments more accurately. Through his research and writings, Jabir ibn Hayyan laid the foundation for many chemical concepts that would develop in the Western world centuries later. Imagine, over 1,000 years ago, a Muslim scientist developed a scientific experimental method that now forms the basis of modern scientific research. The story of Jabir ibn Hayyan demonstrates that in Islamic civilization, the pursuit of knowledge was not merely theoretical, but also carried out through practical research and experimentation. And to this day, Jabir ibn Hayyan's name remains remembered as a pioneer who helped lay the foundations of chemistry as we know it today.
7. Al-Idrisi. My brothers and sisters blessed by Allah. In the history of world exploration, there was a Muslim scientist who made significant contributions to the fields of mapping and geography. He was Al-Idrisi, a renowned geographer who lived in the 12th century. At that time, human knowledge of the shape and regions of the world was still very limited. Many maps were inaccurate and full of approximations. However, through perseverance and in-depth research, Al-Idrisi managed to create one of the most accurate world maps of the Middle Ages. His masterpiece is known as the Tabula Rogeriana, a world map commissioned by King Roger II of Sicily. To compile the map, Al-Idrisi gathered information from merchants, sailors, and explorers from various regions. He studied trade routes, distances between regions, landforms, and the locations of seas and rivers. He then systematically compiled all this data into a geographical map, producing a far more accurate depiction of the world than any previous map. Remarkably, Al-Idrisi's map was used by explorers for hundreds of years. Sailors and explorers relied on this map to understand the world's routes and discover new territories. His work not only helped humans explore the world, but also opened up a broader understanding of the relationships between regions and civilizations. Imagine, at a time when modern mapping technology did not yet exist, a Muslim scientist was able to depict the world with remarkable accuracy. Al-Idrisi's story teaches us that the curiosity and passion for learning in Islamic civilization helped humans understand the world we inhabit. And to this day, Al-Idrisi's name remains remembered as one of history's greatest geographers who helped open the world map to future generations. My brothers and sisters who are blessed by Allah. In the history of world thought, there is a Muslim scientist whose thinking was far beyond his time. He was Ibn Khaldun, a great scholar who lived in the 14th century. Ibn Khaldun is known as an extraordinary historian, philosopher, and social thinker. Because of his profound ideas about society and civilization, many modern scientists call him the father of sociology and also the pioneer of historiography, namely the study of how to understand and write history scientifically. One of his greatest works is the Muqaddimah, a book that serves as an introduction to his larger historical work. However, it was this introduction that later became very famous and influential in the world of science. In the Muqaddimah, Ibn Khaldun explains that history should not just be a collection of stories about the past. He believes that history must be understood by examining social patterns, how societies form, develop, and ultimately decline. He also explained how the strength of social solidarity in a society can give birth to a strong civilization. However, when that solidarity weakens due to luxury and power struggles, civilization will slowly decline. These ideas were revolutionary in their time. Even today, many of the concepts he explained are still studied in modern sociology and historical studies. Imagine, more than 600 years ago, a Muslim scientist sought to understand how societies work, how civilizations rise, and why they fall. The story of Ibn Khaldun demonstrates that in Islamic civilization, scholars and scientists not only studied nature, but also sought to understand human life and the course of history. And to this day, Ibn Khaldun's name remains remembered as one of history's greatest thinkers who helped humanity understand the dynamics of society and civilization.
9. Al-Kindi. My brothers and sisters blessed by Allah, in Islamic intellectual history, there is a great scientist known as a pioneer of philosophy in the Islamic world. He was Al-Kindi, a scholar who lived in the 9th century and is often referred to as the first Arab philosopher. Al-Kindi lived during the Golden Age of science in Baghdad, when many scientific works from various civilizations were translated into Arabic. He studied the thoughts of Greek philosophers such as Aristotle and Plato, then attempted to combine them with the values of Islamic teachings. Through this approach, Al-Kindi demonstrated that reason and revelation do not have to be in conflict. In fact, by using the reason given by Allah, humans can gain a deeper understanding of the universe and the wisdom behind His creation. This is what makes Al-Kindi a pivotal figure in the development of philosophy in Islamic civilization. However, Al-Kindi's greatness did not stop at philosophy. He was also known as a polymath, a scientist who mastered many fields simultaneously. He wrote remarkable works on mathematics, music, astronomy, and cryptography. In the field of cryptography, Al-Kindi even developed the technique of frequency analysis, a method for deciphering secret messages by analyzing letter patterns in a text. This method later became an important foundation for code breaking, used in secret communication until the modern era. Imagine, over 1,000 years ago, a Muslim scientist had discovered a way to decipher secret codes and research multiple fields simultaneously. Al-Kindi's story teaches us that in Islamic civilization, science flourished, from philosophy to mathematics, from music to cryptography, all aimed at better understanding the world. And to this day, Al-Kindi's name remains remembered as one of the great thinkers who helped build a bridge between classical philosophy and scientific thought in Islamic world.
10. Umar Khayyam. My brothers and sisters who are blessed by Allah, in the history of Islamic civilization, there is a figure who is known not only for the beauty of his poetry, but also for his scientific brilliance. He was Umar Khayyam, a great scientist who lived in the 11th century. Many people know him as a poet through his famous poem Rubaiyat Umar Khayyam. However, beyond this literary beauty, Umar Khayyam was also an extraordinary mathematician and astronomer. In the field of mathematics, Umar Khayyam made significant contributions to the development of algebraic theory. He studied various types of mathematical equations and developed a method for solving cubic equations, something that was very advanced for his time. Apart from mathematics, Umar Khayyam also played an important role in astronomy. He led a team of scientists tasked with improving the calendar system used in Persia. From this research, the Jalali Persian calendar was born, a very accurate calendar system based on the movement of the sun. In fact, the accuracy of this calendar was known to be more accurate than the Julian calendar used in Europe at the time. The accuracy of this calendar helped people determine the seasons, agricultural activities, and various other important activities that depended on time. Imagine, more than 900 years ago, a Muslim scientist had designed a calendar system with an extraordinary level of precision long before modern technology was available. The story of Umar Khayyam demonstrates that in Islamic civilization, science and art could coexist. A poet could simultaneously be a great scientist whose contributions benefited the world. And to this day, Umar Khayyam's name remains remembered as one of history's most extraordinary figures, a poet who touched the hearts of people and a scientist who helped humanity understand time and the universe. These Muslim scientists proved that faith and knowledge can coexist. With a drive to understand God's creation, they laid the foundation for much of the science we use today. Their legacy belongs not only to the Islamic world, but to all humanity.